There's Ken. He's got his mic off, but he's there. Still can't hear you, Ken. No audio.
Hello, test, 1, 2, 3.
I see you, but I can't hear you.
Still no audio?
Can you hear me? If you can hear me, not okay.
Yeah. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Hello, test, 1, 2, 3. Hello, test, 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Just
Well,
can't see you, but I can hear you.
all right. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. I just can't see you.
Okay.
There you are.
But
There you are.
Bill can't hear me.
Still having audio problems.
Mark, tell Bill that you can hear me.
Hattie, Hattie.
Can you hear me? Mark,
I can hear you.
tell Bill that you can hear me. Because he can't hear me.
Can you hear me, Bill?
See, he can't hear any of us.
No,
I thought there
his
was
audio's not working.
I changed my microphone because I thought it was me. I changed my camera and microphone. Let me write him a note. I had something to write with.
Don't you grab at that deer now.
that deer shot was posted in 2-page spread in Outdoor Oklahoma. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to get rid of that, or he's not gonna be able to read my sign.
Yeah. Yep. You have to show all that fun equipment and stuff behind you. Besides, I like that scene anyway. Where you're showing all your equipment and stuff behind you.
All my junk.
Yes. I like that picture better.
I can't hear the fire station either. I'm not getting any audio from the fire station or from Ken.
Ken, you're gonna have to kill that backdrop so you can show them your sign.
I'm working on it, but
Go down to your
video settings.
yeah, where it says video, click up to that. Choose your virtual background.
That's it. I don't see the
Well,
choice.
under choice of virtual background, just put none.
I know, but I don't see the choice for virtual backgrounds. So I must be, is it under general?
Okay,
No.
down in the bottom left there where it says stop video.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's a little up arrow. No, don't hit the stop video. Undo that.
yeah, hit the up
Okay.
arrow.
Hit the up arrow.
Oh,
and-
yeah, choose video filter background.
Yeah, virtual background. Go to that
Mm-hmm.
and then none.
Then find none. Found it.
There you are.
All right.
Now show them your sign.
Okay.
Put Ken,
Yeah,
Let me
put
leave
on
and
your
sign
sign,
back on.
reset your audio.
okay,
Oh,
Well,
now
he-
that's what he's doing. He's going out, he's gonna come back and reset it.
okay.
There you go. Boy, I tell you what, Sunday afternoon, I was on FT8 17 meters.
Yeah,
And I was hitting all kinds of Europe and then I got 3 Japanese ones from the West.
17 is really fun band.
Oh, it was crazy. I meant one after another.
And 15's been that way lately too, so
I
not check
haven't
in,
been-
Mark.
I haven't been on 15.
Yeah,
I stay around 17 and 20.
Yeah, 15 was really good. And this evening, about an hour ago, I worked Hawaii and 2 stations in Alaska on 10 meters.
Really?
So if you needed Hawaii or Alaska for your worked all states, it was there this evening
On 10 meters.
on 10 meters. Yeah, and there was 2 Alaskan stations and 3 Hawaiian stations on. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes, I can.
All right.
It's working now. It sounds good, Bill.
Did you know what I did, Bill? I had a new microphone on, and you told me it wasn't working. So I took it off and put the other one on. And then you still couldn't hear me. So Mark came to our rescue.
There you go. Hey, I'm gonna let you guys talk for a while, okay?
All right, I appreciate it. Appreciate your help, Mark. And so I thought maybe I scrounged up this other USB microphone, but I didn't know if it had camera, but I didn't know if it had a microphone in it or not. And when you couldn't hear me, I thought, well, that thing must not have a mic in it. So I went back to the other one.
I think it was me all along, Ken.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll stay with this one. Maybe it won't bomb out tonight.
I don't think it was your problem. I think it was a problem on my end.
Did you get anything done in the past couple of days? It was pretty good weather.
Well, yes and no. It's kind of 2 steps forward and 1 step back type thing.
Yeah,
I did finally that new section of top tower that I got in.
Yes. Oh,
I
you
think
got
I-
it in?
Yeah, the new section of top tower came in and it had the same problem. And that was when you ran the mast down through that top bushing,
Yeah.
it was so far off at the bottom, there was no way to get it to align with the rotator. So finally, I took some pictures of, with the mast off, there's a hole right in the center of that rotator plate. I shoved the mast down through there and took pictures to show them how
Mhm.
far off the mast was
That's
relative.
ridiculous.
And sent them the photographic evidence. And they wrote back pretty quick and said, yeah, we had a problem. We had a new welder that was making some kind of mistake when he was welding that thing together. And I don't know how many he ruined, but I've got 2 of them that he ruined.
Well, they should reimburse you for that second one you had to buy.
Well, I never actually sent him any money yet for that
Okay.
second one. It's the guy that had to buy it so far is the dealer, which is not fair.
Yes, I understand about
And
that.
but
But he should be able to go back to the manufacturer.
well, I think he will now that they
Hmm.
have admitted. Yeah, they came right out. I mean, within a day, they
Yeah,
had written back and said, "Yeah, we found our problem. You're right. It is our problem." Because the letter I wrote, I said, both of these have the same problem exactly. And I believe it's a workmanship problem. I don't believe, that it was any kind of damage. And I
Yeah.
don't think that little ding that was in that one of the tubes actually caused the problem to start with.
no,
And it didn't. It was a welding problem.
Yeah.
So they're supposedly they shipped a new one out today or tomorrow, a
good.
new top section, and hopefully it'll ship directly to me and not through the dealer.
Yeah,
Last
So-
time they shipped it to the dealer and then he had to repackage it and ship it to me.
Mhm.
But
So was it a jig problem or?
well, they said they blamed it on the welder,
Yeah,
the guy that was welding the things together. Apparently, I guess the implication is he wasn't using their fixture, their jig correctly somehow.
oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Is he still working there?
Probably so. As hard as it is to get anybody to work these days,
Yeah,
I suspect they retrained him and
yeah.
and
Got
Put
him
him
on the
right
right path.
put him right back there welding again.
Well, they should have some kind of a fixture that would check to see if it's welded in there straight.
Yeah, all they
That
got to
should be
do
at
is,
the end of the assembly line.
all they got to do to check that particular part of it is just run a
Piece of
mass
tubing.
tube down through the bushing
Yeah.
and see if it's in the center of that hole. They
Yeah,
can even have a ring gauge to go in the center of that hole,
yeah,
and it should, if it's aligned correctly, the ring gauge could have a little clearance in it,
Yeah.
and then it should go right through there. But apparently they weren't checking them.
yeah.
And but they did have some kind of fixture. And I don't know that he never did say exactly what the guy was doing. He just said it was the welder's fault.
Yeah.
Blame it on the poor welder.
Yeah,
And maybe it was. Maybe he was a new guy and didn't really know how to get it jigged up correctly. But I've got two now that have a misalignment of that top bushing.
yeah. So they're gonna pay for the freight back?
I don't suspect they even want them back. I don't know what they do with them if they got them back. There's so many pieces welded together up there at the top. You'd have to cut it all apart, cut all the welds. And I
Well,
don't think it'd be worth it.
the individual could do that.
Well,
You
it
know,
would be difficult.
somebody that could weld could
If-
cut that top piece off of one of them or put the two together and fix the top section and have a 20-foot tower.
Yeah, you could. Or,
You could just weld them all together. You fix the top and
yep. you could weld the two together.
Mhm.
It would be, it tapers quite a bit toward the top, though. It'd be hard to get it to line up. But what it would be good for, I think, would be if somebody wanted to mount a roof mount antenna,
Yeah.
because whether if you clamp a mast into that upper bushing, there's two
Mhm.
bolts in the side of that for clamping the mast rather than running it down to a rotator. So
Yeah.
if you just clamped a mast in there, it would be a few degrees off, but it wouldn't be any big deal.
Yeah, you
for-
would, when you could even mount the rotor at the top hole,
Exactly.
put
Yeah.
a short piece coming down the bottom of your rotor, poke it down in that hole.
Yeah, or just mount put a short piece of mast in there
Mhm.
and put the rotator on top of the mast.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Clamp it to the mast and then put your antenna. Yeah, that would work fine. And it would be a really nice lightweight roof mount.
Yeah,
Somebody would have to make some sort of a plate or something, or some feet to screw it to the roof with, but
yeah,
it's really lightweight. I mean, the thing doesn't weigh, I think it weighs like 15 or 20 pounds, 25
Yeah.
pounds, something like that. Be a really slick way for a roof mount.
be good for a satellite antenna.
Well, I may have a couple of them to give away if they don't want those back.
I'm pretty sure there's somebody in the Radio Amateur Club that would like to have it.
Well, I may have a couple of them. Because I can't imagine them wanting the things back by the time they paid the freight to get them back and then all the labor to try to fix them.
Yeah,
I just don't think it would be
but
economically viable.
no, but the reason they'd want it back is so you couldn't have it.
Well, they were real nice about it. I mean, they were real apologetic and said,
Yeah.
and thanked me for pointing out their problem and
Yeah.
so that they could get it fixed. And they did show a picture of one they had just welded up, and they had done exactly what I was saying. They had run a mast down through to the rotator, had put a rotator plate in it,
Yeah,
and that mast was right in
in the middle of it.
visually in the
Right through
center
the
of that
hole.
hole.
Yeah, good.
It looked like it lined up really good, and that's the one they were gonna ship to me. And
Bill, how'd you luck out and get two of their throwaways?
He's just
Well,
lucky that way, Mike.
they've been making throwaways. They had apparently a new guy welding them together, and after I showed them the photographs, they went back and checked the process and wrote back and said, yeah, we found our problem. It is a problem in manufacturing. And they blamed it on the guy that was welding them together.
Well, they should have had a QC after the welder.
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
At the end of the manufacturing line.
Yeah, before they released the product, it's worked.
Yep.
Hello,
I
Sam.
agree.
Hey guys, hey, did you notice until just now, there were more of us here than there were in the room down there.
Is that
Is
right?
that Sam?
Well, there were 4 here and 4 there. It was tied,
Yeah.
but now they
Yeah,
just gained a couple.
Still yet, the most important ones are here.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I was gonna go down there, but my wife's not feeling well, so I decided I'd stay here. And the doctor's supposed to be calling her in a prescription for like the last hour,
Yeah.
and so I may just disappear any second. So
Okay.
if I disappear, it's because I have to go pick up her script. Hey,
Well,
Ken.
Ken?
Thank goodness for call-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems like
well,
it.
we took 2 hours to get hold of the doctor, and then now
Yeah.
it's been almost an hour, and the pharmacy still says they haven't even got it yet.
It seems to take forever to get anything done these days.
Yeah, with all these computers and all that, it was.
Or are you going to use 24-hour pharmacy, or are you going to hope they're get it before 9 o'clock? You get it.
They're calling it into a Walgreens that's 24 hours, but it's
Hey, that's a good deal.
but that's also like the busiest Walgreens, I think, in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it
Because they're
is.
24 hours.
Seems like all of these Walgreens and CVS and Walmarts here in Shawnee are all busy all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Hello, Ken.
How are you doing?
All right. What's new?
Can't hear you.
He's got it.
yeah,
He's got it set up for push to talk. So he's
Ken, we can't hear you.
talking to somebody else, I think.
You got it.
I know.
Oh,
Blasts everybody out.
yeah. I don't know why we don't need it blaring in the room there. I might say something about Mark Clayton, but
Yeah.
wouldn't want him to hear it. So,
His ears might be burning right now.
yeah. Well, he's probably hearing me.
hi, buddy. Come on. I'll be right back. I gotta let him out.
But Mike, I really like your background. I love the way you're. We'll talk when you get your dog taken care of.
Okay.
He's in a dark room, I guess.
Well, he's got some kind of blur thing going there. I don't know.
Well,
it's,
his camera,
but he is so sharp, and then the background is set. I'm blurry, but I can't figure out why. I can't.
well, it's out of focus. The camera.
Yeah, I just don't know how to
depth of field.
fix that. I'll tell you what. I loaded Windows 11 the other day.
Oh, no.
It's just been hounding me to load it. To go to Windows 11. So I finally. This is my ham shack computer. There's nothing on it too essential. And so I decided to load it. And first off, my fingerprint reader didn't work to get onto it. And I found out you actually have to go in and load the old driver. You have to tell it you want to update the driver, but then you put in the old one, not the one Windows.
You put in the old one and then update it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then it
Yeah.
started working. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to have to figure out how to go in here and,
I'll tell you how I do that whenever a new operating system comes out, Sam. I buy a new hard disk drive and I format it and I put the new system on that. And then if I don't like it, I'll just unhook that hard drive and hook up my other one.
that's
Power that
probably
to
a
go.
pretty smart idea.
Yeah.
I'm,
Hard drives are cheap nowadays.
Well, that's for sure.
compared to
yeah,
what
but
they used to be.
I don't know. I just bought a new one for my real laptop, the one I keep my business on and all that. I've got a 250 gig on there, and it's full. It's getting really slow and just bogging down. So I bought a 500.
Yeah.
And I got this cloning software, and I've tried 10 times to get it to clone, and it won't clone. And that's using the Samsung or whatever the hard drive for their cloning software. Both hard drives are the same
Mhm.
brand, but it just
Yeah.
won't clone.
I don't know, but I tell you one thing, you should have bought a terabyte hard drive. Time you
Well,
get that
actually,
one-
I
time you
bought
get that
this
one
thing.
going, you'll be wishing you had bought a bigger one.
Yeah, bought this thing quite a while ago.
Or you can
and,
put 2 drives. Oh, it's a laptop though.
yeah, it's a lot. Actually, I could have put 2 drives, but
Coulda-
instead
coulda.
I bought it with a. I could have had it with 2 drives, but I bought it with a CD-ROM instead.
Yeah,
Or,
well, let me show you. This is a external.
Yeah, okay.
This is an external solid state hard drive.
Well, I can change that too.
You can
Yep.
you can put an operating system on that and boot up from this to test out an operating system. Or you could use this just for storage and get rid of some of the stuff that's on your computer.
Yep.
So you wouldn't have to buy a terabyte drive. And then you have easy access to it. All you gotta do is plug this in and go.
Well, I've got a cradle thing up where I sit most of the time with my work computer, and I can drop a hard drive in it, and I can swap hard drives and do all this. But it seems like every time I put something over on it to save space, then I'm out somewhere and I need that file and
Yeah,
don't have access to it.
yeah, I know what you mean.
And I hate to put it all up put everything on one drive. I hate for Microsoft to see everything I have, and I don't know. It's
Did you think about putting an SSD in instead of a hard drive?
well, I've got SSDs. Yeah, they're all solid
Okay.
states. Yeah,
Okay.
I still call them hard drives. But they're
Yeah.
all
Okay.
solid
Me
Okay.
too, and
states.
that's all I use.
It's funny. I found this old laptop laying here the other day, and I was having trouble with a piece of software, and it just wouldn't run on Windows 10, and it was an old piece of software. I thought, found this old laptop, this old IBM, and I booted it up, and the darn thing was still running. Was it Windows 7?
Nothing
and so
wrong with Windows 7.
I thought, well, that's cool. I'll see if
Not
the
so old.
software will see if the software will run on Windows 7, and I couldn't get it to run there either. But anyway, gosh, that thing had a spinning hard drive in it, and it seemed like, I mean, I tried to boot it. I booted it up, plugged it in, booted it up, and went to lunch, and came back. And it was finally booted up.
What's amazing to me is the hard disk drives that have the platters in them, the mechanical hard disk drives.
Right.
How did we ever make them things work in a laptop computer the way people throw them laptops around?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's between that and just how slow they were. That was like, this thing is just such a dog.
Well, that's called parking your head in every time,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
don't wreck those drives.
Yeah, we know about that, don't we, Bill?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, one of the first laptops I had some kind of like a gyro in it, and if you dropped it, it would sense that it was a Panasonic Toughbook, and if you dropped it, supposedly it could lock that hard drive quick enough before it hit the ground. If you dropped it from more than 3 feet or something, it's pretty interesting. So I'm in there looking at my my camera setting, or trying to find the camera settings in Windows 11. Okay.
So Windows 11 look about like Windows 10?
Well, it looks totally like it, except like it moved all the stuffs in my bar at the bottom that used to be over to the left. It's now in the middle. It moved that. And I mean, other than that, I really don't see a whole lot of difference. It's
Well, let's see what Ken has to say before he runs off.
okay.
What?
Talk to us, oh wise one. Ken,
Talk to us, Ken.
talk to us. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Anybody lip read?
We've had all of our share microphone problems already this evening.
Yeah, I think that was my problem rather than yours, Ken. As soon as
I think Mark messed it up for you, Ken. No, still can't hear you. Well, Bill, I still think you need to build a 40-meter dipole.
Yeah,
Inverted V.
I agree.
And you can be on the air during this cold snap and work on your antenna a little bit at a time.
Well, I'd have to figure out some way to support the 40-meter dipole.
Put it on your tower. You got coax already running out there.
Yeah, but I've only got 30 foot of tower.
30 foot's enough for now. Till you get other things put together. And the tower's easy to put up. Just mount that inverted V to it and crank that tower up and tie the ends out there somewhere and get on the air. You got coax running out there already.
I do. I still haven't run it inside, terminated it outside and got it into the house yet. I mean, I've got the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
But I did find I found a box I like real well, and I'm going to bring that 2-inch conduit up right to the bottom of the box and put a connector in it.
Mm-hmm.
Put a PVC connector in the box and have the PVC 2-inch PVC terminate right in the box, so the coax comes out into the box.
Yeah.
And I found a I was digging around out in my metal pile and found a nice piece of, probably 3/8 thick aluminum that I can make a plate to mount the lightning arresters and
Yeah. Mhm. Good.
everything
be a-
on.
That'll be a neat setup.
Yeah, it's a really nice box and it wasn't very expensive. I found it on Amazon, ordered it one afternoon and it was here the next day. It's amazing how they can do that. I guess it comes out of the warehouse here in Oklahoma City is the only way they can do it. But the fact that they have so many items in the local warehouse is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Things you think they'd never have.
Well,
You know,
they're very statistical, and I sell on Amazon, and I no longer let them fulfill my orders, but that's another deal. But they would tell me, I would say, okay, I have 100 of this item I want to sell, and they would tell me send 4 to Cleveland and 2 to Oklahoma City, and bottom line is their computers monitor the sales. And every so often they'll miss, obviously. 2 people will order, but they will only have sold 1 in the last 6 months. So they keep 1 in the warehouse, but I mean, I would love to see the algorithm. Well, I wouldn't know what it said, but
Yeah,
but
they're
it's
using some
incredible.
computer
It really
power
is.
for sure.
Hey, I wanted
But-
to show you guys something. This is I was doing some printing today with my 3D printer,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm into pop art now.
Huh.
This started out as an insulator for like for an antenna wire.
Yeah.
And anyway, somewhere along the line, it lost bed adhesion. And when I went down, it finished, but it only got halfway done. This part's right. And then it
Mhm.
just went crazy. So anyway, I'm reprinting it now, but my wife said I should just keep doing these. As one of a kind art pieces. I could sell
Yeah.
them, at flea
Yeah, you
markets.
could.
And
You could spray paint that sucker and put a price tag on it and probably sell it.
yeah.
Why not? I mean,
Pay for some of this filament I'm buying all the time. Yeah. But I love my little printer though. It's
how big is the bed on yours?
120 by 120 millimeters by 200 tall, I think, roughly. I mean, it's not huge, but it's big enough to do almost everything. There's one thing I did. I did an actual drawing on it, on a 3D drawing, and printed it, and I had to cut it in half. So I sliced it on the computer into 2 files and printed the pieces and then glued them together with the little cement. And, so it's
That's impressive. So is the software you use to write the program fairly complicated, or is it kind of like a CAD program?
well, there are a ton of things like this insulator was out there on a thing called Thingiverse for free, and it was in what's called an STL file. And you dump the STL file into a piece of software called Cura, and it actually slices it and writes the G code file that the printer uses. Okay. That piece I was talking about that I cut, I used TurboCAD 3D, and I drew it in 3D on TurboCAD from scratch, and then made my own STL file, or actually ended up making 2 files, and Cura, and then the printer. So it depends. Over the years I've done a lot of 3D printing, and the problem is I won't do any for 2 or 3 years, and then I have to almost start over learning it. But it's like riding a bike. Once you crash into a tree once or twice, you figure it out. And fortunately, this piece that I created and had to cut was really straight lines, and wasn't anything. Didn't have to have any S curves in it or anything very fancy. So I'm not sure I could remember how to do that. But
And like epoxy it together, or
yeah, I've got some epoxy. Actually, I epoxied my fingers together today, putting a piece together. I'm going to go get a piece. I'll come back and show you here in just a
Okay.
second.
Well, just before I powered up here on 15 meters, I was copying 2 or 3 stations in China, South Korea, Taiwan, and there was a dozen Japanese stations on. There's always a lot of JAs on.
What's the designation for the Chinese? What are their,
They're BV and B, things like that.
but start with B's?
Yes. Mhm. I'll give you a call sign here.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so a buddy of mine has told me a million times all his life practically he's wanted to own a Volkswagen bus. So I found this.
Ah, you print
And
that?
I haven't glued these two pieces together, so I'm just holding them.
That's
But
cool.
but it's actually a pencil holder. Sit on
Okay.
your desk.
Mhm.
And anyway, blue's his favorite color. So
Well, the only thing I see wrong with it, it's supposed to have a big old peace sign on
well, he may have to do some things himself.
it.
But anyway, this was
That's really good.
4 major pieces. Each one took about 8 to 10 hours each.
Wow.
And then little things like the fenders here and this little
Mm-hmm.
V in the front, took an hour. But yeah, I've got 2 or 3 days of printing time in this thing. But
Did you write the program for that, or was
no,
that
this one I found on Thingiverse, and all the files were there. I just
okay?
had to slice them for my printer, and you pretty much got to slice everything yourself because every printer has different quirks, and that Cura, you tell it what printer you're using, and it knows how to set everything for your printer. But yeah, I think he's going to get a kick out of this. I've been gluing parts just a little at a time and
That looks pretty neat to me.
get this thing. I think it's a pretty good size. It was bigger than I thought it was going to. Just to tell you, that barely fit on the bed of my printer.
Okay.
So how much material did it take to do that?
I didn't really look on this one. Cura tells you that, and there are so many variables because you determine what they call the infill. In other words, how like the inside of this here is basically hollow. It's got a matrix in there, and
Yeah.
you can change all these. They're kind of stock settings, but then you can change and make it denser. Some things. Let me show you. I printed this the other day. This is a headphone holder. Goes up under sorry, you can't see this any better, but it goes up under a desk. And then you hang your headphones on it when you're not like the ones I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And so on this one, I did this part up here where the screws are going to go in. I did that like really solid. I mean, it's not totally solid. I could have, but I went like 80% fill.
Mhm.
But then down here, doesn't need very much. So I went like 20% fill down here. Of course, that affects how much. But when you do the slice, it tells you an estimated time, and it also tells you estimates how many grams of material. But I mean, I've done some things. Like this piece of art, if it had come out right, when that had turned into an insulator, it would have been about 2.5 inches long. It's like a dog bone insulator, and it was 5 grams of material. So you do the math. A kilo is and it's fairly hollow. It doesn't have to be very. Maybe doesn't. I don't know. It's the first one I printed. I just did it with. Might wished I'd done it denser, but a kilo is $25. So what is that? 2.5 cents per gram. So this would have cost 10 cents or 15 cents.
Pretty cheap.
So yeah, probably electricity is in there somewhere too, but
That kind of looks like a shrub. I think you ought to spray it green and call it a shrub.
Yeah.
maybe I'll try to print it again in green and use green. And I don't know. It's
But you don't know how you did it.
no, I don't know what messed it up.
So it's a one of a kind.
Ken's got one of these printers ordered, so he's probably listening in here. But sometimes they're like a 5-year-old child. I can sit there and watch it, and it'll work, and I'll go off to the bathroom and come back, and it's just gone haywire. You know, it's like a 5-year-old. You just can't always trust it, but most of the time it does good. Well, like this whole Volkswagen. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 4, 6 parts to this thing, and it didn't mess up once on them. I just went in and looked as I walked by it. It's messed up on I've got another piece of op art trying to print another one of these. And I just hit stop.
So is the material pretty cheap?
I'm sorry?
Is the material pretty cheap?
Yeah, you know, $25 for a kilo.
Mhm.
And of course you got to have, you know, I've got probably 10, 12 different colors out of the hundreds you can buy, but
Yeah.
I keep all the basics: black, white, red, yellow, green, blue, you know, purple. But, and you know, you can get them off Amazon for in a day or two if you run into something you don't have. But, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the funnest toys. And I'll sit here on the radio. Oh, it's printing in the next room. And I sit here and do the radio, and then I run in there and look at it every so often.
So if you draw something up on TurboCAD has a way to convert that into a file or do you have to have separate software?
No, TurboCAD will save as an STL file,
Okay, I've got TurboCAD.
or at least the TurboCAD I have. I think mine's
I
deluxe.
use a
3D.
program called EagleCAD to design my print circuit boards with. I don't know if that will do it or not. You can do a 3D with EagleCAD.
Just need to look and see if it'll do STL files.
Yeah, I don't remember if it will or not.
But
You send
go
those,
ahead.
you send those off, Ken, to
Yeah,
fab shop and they fab your
yeah.
PCBs?
I send the files to China and they make the circuit boards. And whenever I first built the first circuit board on that amplifier that I designed, I sent it to a place in California, and the price was just unbelievable expensive. To even get 10 prototypes was about $300 and some dollars.
Huh.
And you can do China, I could get them done for $2 or $3 a board.
When I first designed my trailer lock, I took it to a place that was housed in Tulsa Tech up in Tulsa. It was an independent company, but they rented space from Tulsa Tech, and they did prototyping like that. And I had them make 8 prototypes of I did the 3D drawing and handed it to them, and they converted it to the STL or what. I don't even remember now what they needed, probably an STL back then too. And anyway, I had them make me 8 prototypes. It cost me over over 100 each. It was $1,000 for 8.
Yeah.
For them to make 8 prints, 3D prints, basically.
Crazy.
And the way theirs worked is they had this beaker full of some kind of acrylic, and they put a string down in it, and then there was a laser, and it took each one of those pieces took like 2 hours to do, and the laser would, wherever it reached in and touched that acrylic, it would harden, and then when it was done, they'd pull the string out, and there it was. And it was pretty interesting stuff. It was
So it hardened the surface layer and then it sunk a little bit each time that it did a layer. Is that?
well, I think it started on the inside along the string, because it also had lattice. What am I trying to say? Lattice inside it. It wasn't solid acrylic when it pulled out. It was. I kept one of them. I gave the foundry. Well, I kept at least one. I can't remember now. But anyway, I gave some to the foundry, and they actually used them as a mold for casting. We cast metal out of it to see how how it would do in metal. And yeah, it was hollow on the inside. And
Still can't hear you, Ken.
the
Go ahead.
foundry
Go ahead, Sam.
Ken talking, the foundry took that basically a positive, and they dipped it in ceramic, put layers of ceramic, and then melted out the original core that I'd given them. They melted that out in a furnace and baked the
Yeah,
ceramic.
Yeah.
Lost wax.
Yeah.
Casting.
Same process, except they did it with this, whatever this plastic was. It worked with the same lost wax
Like he gave up on it.
process. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, it's yeah, now I could have done it here at the house. I wouldn't have had to pay $100 and something a piece for those things. I keep thinking I'm gonna, you know, I've still got the original CAD drawings and everything and the STLs. I keep thinking I'm gonna print one of my own and just see how it print on my printer, but I never have. Because I keep coming up with other things to print.
We couldn't hear Ken, but we can hear the room.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear the background.
So what's the deal on that?
I don't know. They were
And
trying to.
Hello, Phil. Hello, Phil.
Phil's all coming and going there.
Yeah.
I'm muted because they're jabbering on the radio.
But interestingly enough,
Well, I think that 3D printer is
not a double-sided
a
board.
good deal, and you have a lot of fun with it.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's pretty cool to be able to. I mean, I make little Pokemon things for my grandkids, and you know, when they're here, my granddaughter gets a new Pokemon every day. I print her something every night, and she's really into that. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. I've done some useful things. I mean, I've got here's a little stand that fits my Kenwood radio. If I want to have my Kenwood handy talkie sitting here, I can drop it in that little stand, and microphone clips and all sorts of stuff.
So I guess there's things online. You can go look and find the files to download.
Yeah, it's amazing what's already out there. You know, it's well, like this insulator. You know, I just went to this place called Thingiverse or Thingiverse. I don't know how they say it, but anyway, it's called Thingiverse, and I typed in antenna insulator, and it came up with like 10 or 15 different
I'm surprised.
designs. Yeah. You know, some of them were like square, and some of them were just like a flat piece that had a hole in each end. You know, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. You know, they had lots of different styles that people have put on there, and they're all free. The only thing you can't do is sell them. You can't take something that's on Thingiverse and then
sell it.
and then produce it and sell it. But
So now someone's gonna have to call Mark and tell him to mute that thing.
all right, let's see if I can
I don't have his number.
Potential.
see if he'll answer me here in a minute.
Not going up here because one side is the negative side of an electrolytic capacitor, and you wouldn't put an AC wire. You wouldn't put an AC wire over here because this goes to the plus side of the output. Hello.
Hey, we couldn't hear Ken a while ago, and now we can't hear each other for all the background noise. I don't know what microphone got on or.
There are wires going to the transformer. Oh, yeah. Where'd they come from?
Pull the plug on that thing.
That better? The power cord.
Nope.
The power switch. And you have these. The primary.
I don't know where it's coming from, but we're hearing all this chatter in the background back there.
We got all kinds of noise from the room.
Hold on.
I think you got it.
That got it.
Yeah, that fixed it.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Mr.
Yeah.
Vice President handles it.
That made quite a difference.
Yeah. I think Ken switched it from the little hand mic to the computer
Yeah, I guess
microphone.
so.
And that's what we were hearing. So, because to get himself heard. I don't see, maybe I do see, but yeah, there's the other mark. Peter Core back there in the back. Oh, yeah. So what are you up to,
Bill?
Ken?
I'm not much. I've been doing some DX work, and I bought this new logging program, which everybody else has been using, and I've been trying to get all my log stuff straightened out. So this program, you can download the logbook of the world, what you have up there, and it is really nice and easy to look through. You can search on about anything. You can search on a country or a call sign or a mode, and it's pretty interesting to go through there and see. I started using Logbook of the World back around 2002, and there wasn't a lot of people using it then, and I've got hundreds, maybe a couple of thousand or more contacts in there at the beginning that no match for, because the other person wasn't on Logbook of the World. Back
Right.
then, everybody was sending cards to each other. So I've got a lot of them that don't match anybody because those people weren't on Logbook of the World.
So what are you using now? What you
It's
switch?
called Amateur Contact Log.
Yeah, by N3 FJP, I think.
Yeah, it's the same one that the club uses, and
Yep.
It is really slick program. And whenever the WSJTX program, has a logging program in it.
Right.
So you can, when you log the contact, it goes into a file, and you can import that file into this logging program. Then you can upload it to Logbook of the World, and then you can download it back from the Logbook of the World, and it'll show you which ones are matched. So I can keep track of what countries that I have confirmed. And I'm just trying to put all of it together to see how much I need for 5-band DXCC. And I'm down to, I only need about 6 more countries on 80 meters and 4 more on 40. And I'll have 5-band DXCC. Actually, I'll have more than that because I've got over 100 countries on some of the work bands, but that don't count for 5-band DXCC. I've got about 200 and some countries on 10 meters alone.
Wow.
So there's no one logging program that'll do it all, huh?
But this one seems to work pretty good. The logging program that I used for years was before Logbook of the World, and there's been a lot of logging programs come and go since then.
Yeah.
But this one I seem to like. Okay. It seems
well, and he puts out, I bought the subscription to it. So I get I get all the contest, summer field day. He puts out a special deal that you use for field day. Same when the club gets it and uses it. But like last year where we didn't have club stuff where we were all doing it, I got it and it automatically put it in the Logbook of the World. It automatically sent it to the ARL for the contest. So
I've got that too, Sam.
It's
I paid the $50 and got all of that too.
Yeah, me too. It's money well spent, and I keep getting updates, and it's forever. It's pretty nice.
Well, it's really neat to be able to search. I've got I forgot how many, 16 or 17,000 entries into it.
Wow.
And you can search.
Wow.
You can search just almost by anything. I I wanted to see if I had had any contacts to Andorra. I don't know if anybody knows where Andorra is. There's a lot of countries in the world that people don't know about, but Andorra is a small country over by northern Africa, and I've had about 8 or 10 contacts with that country, but only one of them is confirmed. And back then, like a lot of hams in some of these countries that were pretty hard to get, they wanted money. They wanted you to send them a
Yeah.
PSL card with $5 in there.
Whoa.
And they say that's what they need for postage, which is not true, but
Yeah, well, something they need, but
and there's a lot of South Americans that do that too, and they're only in there to make money. They're not on Logbook of the World. You go to their website and they want you to send them money. So consequently, I've probably got 3,000 or 4,000 contacts early on that never were confirmed. And a lot of them were 10 meters. 10 meters was pretty good around 2000 and 2002 and around in there. I can scroll through that thing and it's pretty disappointing to see page after page of none of them being confirmed.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of, comparatively, I seem like I have a lot of non-confirmed one in Logbook of the Worlds, and I guess
Yeah.
that just means the other guy didn't log them.
Yeah,
So,
or he wasn't on
yes.
Logbook of the World, or
Yeah. So,
And
and I've got all of 2 QSL cards.
I've got boxes of QSL cards.
I'll bet. People don't send them much anymore. I mean, it seems
No.
like
Well,
I still send them.
all the moon bounce guys, when I make a contact on EME, they always QSL. And whenever I was doing 630 meters, those guys always did QSL. But it's not like 20 meters where you do thousands of contacts, on those bands, you don't have very many contacts, and it's not a big deal to send a card out.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to get that done. And do you use the JT alert whenever you're doing FT8?
Well, I do, and actually just recently, and I haven't been on FT8 now since I found this out. I didn't realize all the things you could do with that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've been doing in JT Alert. You can go in there. You have to manually do it to enter which countries you've worked, so it will know how to flag them.
Mm.
So I spent about 4 hours the other day updating all of that stuff in there.
That'd be so simple for me. I've never talked to anybody outside the United States. I mean, I have to flag one country and I'm good.
I've worked, let me bring this logging program up here. I have worked, I'll do a search from the first of the year, and I know I've made 200 and some DX contacts that were good contacts, like China and Africa and places like that. I'm gonna pull the logging program up and search.
Do the countries like that, like China and Russia, do they use Logbook of the World too?
Yeah, a lot of them do. And that's another thing, this JT Alert program will tell you if they use Logbook of the World or not.
Mm.
But Logbook of the World by itself is not a standalone program. You still need another program.
Well, you've got to have WSJT, or you mean Logbook of the World? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Logbook of the World, but
The logging program is a standalone program,
Yeah.
but the Logbook of the World is a ARRL program that everybody uploads their logs too, and then they match them up. And that's how they do the awards. You can get an award through ARRL by using Logbook of the World, because you can easily go in there and see how many countries or states you've worked. If you're trying to work all states, you can go in there and see that easily.
I think you can go just manually enter in Logbook of the World on the ARRL website.
I have manually entered, but most logging programs save it in the type of file that will upload to the Logbook of the World, and that's what I did. I was using a logging program called Win32, and I could upload that to Logbook of the World. So consequently, over the years, I was using that logging program, but it's not near as convenient, and you can't sort and all of that stuff like you can this newer logging program that we're all using now. It's a lot better.
What's the new one that you're talking about, Ken?
It's called Amateur Contact Log, and the guy's call sign is N3FJP. But go to
and Bill, see, the nice thing about that when you're doing like FT8 is that the I always forget that WSJT-X, which is the software that you use for FT8, will automatically dump it into the contact log, and then the contact log will dump it into the Logbook of the World for you.
Yeah, so, just by pushing a few buttons.
Yeah, you just click on it. It's done, you know.
And that was called amateur what?
Amateur Contact Log.
Amateur Contact Log.
Yeah.
Okay, here's how many contacts I have in the log. I have 17,043.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever catch you, Ken. Won't live long enough.
Yeah, it's
I've got just the recent DX stations that I've worked. I'll read a few of them off here. I've got Trinidad, Kenya, Africa, Canary Island, Puerto Rico, another Puerto Rican, Belgium, Madeira Island, France, Sweden, Luxembourg, Australia, Japan, Barbados, Dominican Republic, Curacao, and Indonesia, Croatia, Greenland, Philippines, Cayman Islands, Honduras, another Barbados, Seychelles. Recently, does anybody know where Seychelles is at? It's on the other side of Africa. Greece, Bosnia, Slovenia, 3 Republic of South Korea in a row, Denmark, Poland, Wales, Spain, Asiatic, Russia, Sardinia. Sardinia is a small section of Italy, and the call signs are completely different than Italian call signs. It's an IS0. Also, I got Fiji, Germany, Ecuador, Guadeloupe, Brazil, Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, Hungary, St. Lucia, Hawaii, Martinique, Nimby in Africa, Falkland Islands. I've got 2, 3, Panama, Jamaica, and this is just, and there's Guernsey Island. There's a Guernsey and a Jersey Island. They're both, they're called Channel Islands. And there's a New Zealand, just on and on. Virgin Islands, Argentina, Slovak Republic, another Ukraine, Haiti, Taiwan, Bonaire, another Indonesia, South Africa. Anyway, I have been busy the past couple months racking them up.
good cold weather activity.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or windy day activities.
and 10 meters was open a little bit today, and there was 2 Alaskan stations and 3 Hawaiian stations on 10 meters today. And those are kind of hard to get when you're just starting out and you're trying to work all states. And you could have got both of them hard ones today.
Sorry, I'm listening and trying to figure out why my camera's so fuzzy. Cleaned it. Could not seem to. I think I got a little better, but I don't look like a ghost anymore, at least on my screen. But
Well, that I tried a new camera and it looked like it was pretty sharp. But I may have to try it again next time.
this is one that's built into this laptop. You know, it's all right, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, the laptop cameras usually are not all that hot. That's what I was using initially. And I bought this little camera. So Logitech. And it's the picture's a lot better with the maybe it was better to keep me looking fuzzy anyway.
You know, I decided I wanted a new camera right about the time the pandemic hit. I'm always timed things like that. You know, I suddenly realized that I need some Coca-Cola right about the time the weather guys are saying 6 feet of snow this weekend, and everybody's running to the. I mean, that's just my life. I just, you know, I'm always
Bad timing, huh?
So I decided I wanted a new camera, and about the time the pandemic was hitting and schools were shutting down, and I mean, they were charging $400 for an $80 camera on Amazon because
Oh, good grief.
it was crazy. So I just said, we'll just live with this one for a little while.
Well, I'll tell you something that's incredibly expensive right now is aluminum.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of pieces of aluminum, or I have it ordered anyway from the metal shop. Make an adapter to fit that hex beam to the mast, and I don't know. I've got a little short piece of tubing and a little piece of bar stock was over $100.
Wow. Next time you need something.
I mean, how short are you talking, Bill? I've got baskets of it out here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it was real specific sizes because that hex beam mounts kind of weird. I mean, compared to the way most beams mount, it has a 16-inch stub that sticks out the bottom. That's 1 7/8 inches, and that has to drop down into something that has a bore that's just slightly larger than that, or maybe 1,000th or 2 larger. And there's no other way to mount it that I know of other than because you can't. It's the way they made it.
Right.
And
Well, I used to go buy scrap all the time. I've got 2 lathes and a milling machine, Bridgeport Mill, and so I used to stop in and just buy scrap aluminum. I've got just chunks, and I don't know. I've always thought I may do a chess set, but I don't know if I'll ever do the. I mean, that's a lot of pieces.
You got a Bridgeport in your garage or your shop, or?
Yeah, I got a Bridgeport and a Logan lathe, and then an old Craftsman lathe that I never use. It's just there to be pretty. It's just a cute little lathe with a little Craftsman's that they used to sell. That this guy restored. I bought it from him for no reason other than I wanted it, but never turned anything on it. I mean, well, I've got the Logan that'll do anything I want it to do, and has a lot more automation to it. But But anyway, I've just got all sorts of scrap aluminum laying around here. My wife says I'm a metal hog. I just, I go up and down the street and take things, on big junk day, just to.
We'll keep hogging the aluminum because
Yeah,
it's like gold right now.
Oh, I know. Well, I sell an aluminum trailer lock company out of Fort Worth makes them, and they went up 40% on November 1st.
Wow.
Because of the price of aluminum. And I called the owner and I'm like, what? And he goes, I can't explain it. He said, aluminum is a commodity item all across the world. It costs the same thing in China that it costs here. And the whole world, aluminum has gone up. And it's not that there's a shortage. He said, I can get all the aluminum I want. I just have to pay a huge amount now. And
yeah. Gas prices is going to go up too.
well, they already have.
Yeah.
Filled up my pickup for $96 yesterday and $3 and something a gallon now. So, but I don't know. I don't know why things are going crazy. My finance guy says that interest rates are going to go up probably 3 or 4 times this year.
Yeah,
And,
they'll go 1/4% at a time, and I don't think it'll go up 4 times this year, but it'll go up 4 times before.
well,
they
he's
stop.
being pessimistic. He's not going to, but he thinks it'll go up 4 times, which will kill the bond market and da 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 da. But he says, it's the Fed trying to stop this runaway inflation.
Yeah, that's right.
And I really don't understand how those things tie together, but somehow raising interest slows inflation down. So,
Yeah,
Well, raising interest slows business activity down.
yeah.
right.
It slows people down from getting loans.
It slows down the housing market.
So they
That
can't
too.
spend money.
Right, exactly right. But slowing down the housing market is a tricky thing to do, because if you slow down the housing market, you put people out of work.
Right. Well, it's the same thing as the automobile. I mean, that's why the government bailed out Chrysler all those years ago, is because of the thousands of employees that were back when we were kids. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Ken was probably an adult then, but
Yeah, I was.
Me too. I
I
was
was,
an adult.
I was an
also.
old man then.
yeah, it's kind of funny. My best friend bought Chrysler stock and I bought a Chrysler car. And when it was all said and done, he had a lot more money than I did after that bailout. Stock went up and my car went to wasn't worth anything. But anyway, yeah, I don't understand how all these things tie in. That's why I have a financial consultant. I just nod a lot and let him make the best decisions for me. But
Those people are what you call tax-paying citizens.
yeah. Talking about the construction workers, Phil.
Auto workers, construction workers, any workers.
Yeah.
The government wants to cycle that money.
They're also voters. And that's what really drives it.
Yeah.
Most importantly, they're voters. Yeah.
Hey, Phil, I don't know if anybody told you, I put a comment in the meeting notes the other day. They were talking about this dog that's on the repeater all the time. And
Yeah.
I think it's your cat that's just doing a dog impersonation when you're not there, going over and keying that mic up. And
Yeah, well, now it could be.
she's watched you do it, so.
I've been threatening to put my direction finding antenna up on the roof of the truck. The problem is he isn't on but a few seconds. So you have to be right there when he keys up.
It could be so many things. I can remember years ago when I was a paramedic, we had an ambulance, and if the mic got tipped just right in the mic holder, it would press up against the siren and just broadcast everything that was being said in the cab of the ambulance. So you had, you'd hit a bump and suddenly they'd be hearing every word you were saying in the cab. And
I was a radio man, so I had to go out and find those things.
yeah,
Find which vehicle was keyed up or who was sitting on the mic.
yep. Every so often it was a failure in the radio, but
That
something
was
would go
pretty
wrong.
rare though.
But I can remember one time I was with another paramedic. We were driving along. He was telling me some story, which I won't relate. And suddenly we went over a railroad track and the dispatch came on and said, called out our unit number and said, man, that was an interesting story. And we were like, oh, what did we say? What were we talking about? But, and I can remember having the police chase down units. You know, we used to know pretty much where they were going, and they'd get their mic keyed. We'd call the cops and have them chase them down and stop them. Get off their mic. But does happen. It happens at dispatch too with those desk mics. I'll sit down on the desk sometimes, key up the mic. But, I haven't heard this dog. Is it any particular time of day or?
Usually up in the middle of the day. No particular time.
It's funny.
Sounds like a small to medium-sized dog. Fairly high bark.
So is someone's microphone set up on Vox or something, and when the dog barks, it keys it?
Well, we thought it was, but he just comes on and he barks a whole bunch and then it quits and he goes off.
That's funny.
Smart dog. He don't want to be traced.
Again, maybe the dog figured out how to push the talk button.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I've had, I mean, some of you, I've seen dogs lock the car. Guy gets out of the car and leaves the dog in there with the motor running, and the dog jumps up on the armrest, hits the door lock button, and now the cars won't do that. They won't lock it if the keys are in them. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'll listen. I've not heard it, and I when I'm out, I'm always scanning. I'm always listening. Usually what I hear on the scars is that the Lee guy. I hear him on there a lot. But,
you say Lee as in HLG? That Lee?
well, Lee, former president of the club, was it Greenleaf? I'm trying to think what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Greenwood or Greenleaf?
Yeah, he was on just a few minutes ago.
Oh, is he doing the net tonight?
No, Ed's doing the net tonight.
Okay. So I could turn my radio on and listen. So I've got two. Yeah, I'll throw a little Elmer night thing out here. I've got two clocks here that I bought off eBay. I've got two little clocks here in my ham shack. One set for Greenwich Mean Time (UTC) and one set for our time. And I cannot keep them synchronized. Just aggravates the devil out of me.
Well, I use my computer clock for accuracy. And I have one of my moon tracking programs has the UTC time on it. So I can open it up and it's a small window over in the corner.
Yeah.
And that tells me UTC time.
Well, I bought these two clocks and, they're identical. And I thought that was a really cool idea, except like right now they're 1 minute off. They're not quite 2 minutes off because the one chases the other. And I made it better they both have a USB power. So I power one off of my power supply, and then I power the second one off the first one.
Oh, okay.
That really helped. There for a while when I was powering them both off the power supply, a week they might be 10 minutes different.
Really?
But somehow powering one off the other has balanced them out a little bit.
And the same voltage at least.
I would love to figure a way to run two different displays off the same processor, so to speak, so that they were,
I've got, where is it? doesn't show up
Yeah,
with the background. It won't.
you got to put it like in front of your face or something to.
I've got my local clock is a WWD clock, and it's right on the money. But my 24-hour clock is on UPS, and it's always off, and it drives me nuts.
Ken, what are you showing us there?
I was gonna show, see if Phil recognized what that is. You know what that is, Phil?
Are you asking me? Phil or
Oh,
Bill?
Phil.
Oh,
Phil.
Phil.
Looks
Phil,
something
you know
like
what that
that.
Phil's got one too. Wow.
That is
Do I need one?
Andrews. That's Andrews LDF 50 hardline, 7/8 hardline.
Oh,
That's
piece of
what goes to
cable.
my. That's
Oh.
what goes to my moon bounce antenna.
Yours is smaller. This is 1/5/8.
So why do you guys have chunks of hardline laying around?
Because they were throwing this in the dumpster, and it was a cool looking piece of hard line. So I whacked off a piece.
Well, I cut off the end of mine because the end of it was biggered up, so I could put a connector on it. So I put an end connector on it. And this is what I cut off, and I kept that so I could show it to you.
So
You-
you've
But
got
you know what hard line looks like. It's not a piece of coax like RG8. This is hard line, and it don't bend very sharp.
It
so
doesn't bend very
what is
much.
that? What is that outer layer? Is that a solid piece of copper, like corrugated copper?
Right. And the inside of it is like 1/4 inch copper tubing.
Okay.
Hollow.
The inside is the center conductor,
Yeah.
and then the white dielectric, foam dielectric,
Right.
and the outer part is the shield braid. Except in this case, there's no shield braid. It's a corrugated copper tube.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's not a braid at all. It's solid. Okay. That's
The interesting thing to me was because of the skin effect, the electrons flowing through the inner conductor flow right along the edge of the conductor. And it doesn't do any good to put copper in the middle.
Yeah. You don't need
Because
a
RF
solid.
will flow on the edge anyway because of edge, because of surface tension.
right.
So the big coax, what he's got in his hand, I put up 3 pieces of that out of the STARS repeater, and the VHF and UHF repeaters are running off of that 7/8 HELAX, just like he's got. We put up 900 feet of it.
Wow.
That's a real low loss stuff and handle a lot of power. So it's a lot better than RG8 coax.
Well, I know the
A
Kappa
lot harder
guys
to work
were
with.
the Kappa guys were talking about that. They're putting up this new tower out there by Blanchard, and they're on this or putting their antenna up on this new tower out there, and they're talking about hardline, but I had no idea what they were.
Yeah,
This is it.
that's what it looks like.
Cheap stuff like penny a foot or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
More like $1 an inch.
Yeah, probably.
the dielectric is glued in there. It's extruded, so it's all one piece. So when you hang 400 or 500 feet of it, it won't slide downhill. It'll stay put. And that's why we use HELIAX instead of regular coax for tall towers.
Plus it's low loss.
Very low loss, isn't
Yeah.
This piece here came off of a 800 megahertz mobile telephone, and the antenna was up 800 feet. And the transmit power was only 20 watts, but they had to have this large coax to minimize the loss of the coax.
Oh, yeah. And that helps you on transmit and receive.
Yep.
Where'd you come by your coax like that, Ken?
I bought this, I think it was 100 feet of it from a ham that was selling out and moving to California. And I bought two Roan 45 tower sections and a few more things. And he gave me the coax.
Oh, wow.
These big towers, the big antennas, like the ones behind me in the view, they'll have 2 or 3 of these going up each tower.
Yeah.
So you can see a bunch of microwave antennas, and then there's a UHF broadcast antenna up the top. That's Sandia Peak, New Mexico, 20 miles east of Albuquerque. We have a microwave station up just behind that shoulder. There's our microwave station.
Hmm.
This is AE5VH, calls you if this frequency is in use.
Got to go do the net.
All
Okay,
right.
Phil.
See you, Phil.
Nice talking to you.
Hey, guys. I'm going to.
All right, Mike. See you
Mike,
later.
you take care. Oh, what time's it getting to be? Well, I wish they'd pharmacy'd call.
So Bill, yeah, you're gonna have to start working on logging programs, but like I said the other night, getting that logging program going to start with save you a lot of headaches down the road.
Well, I've got a few days here waiting for that third section of
Yeah,
third top of my antenna to come in. So I wrote the amateur contact log and logbook of the world down, and I'll look into getting those.
hey, the logbook of the world don't cost anything. It's free. You just go to Google
to be-
logbook of the world.
You have to be an ARRL member,
No,
Yeah.
or is
No,
it
you
free
don't.
either way?
you don't have to be a member to use it. You have to be a member if you want to apply for the awards, you know, like DXCC
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
Worked All States or whatever. You have to be a member to be able to do that.
Right. Well, I am, so I didn't know if non-members, but yeah, it's,
And the amateur contact log is a commercial
Yeah.
program that he sells.
Yeah, it's $50 if you buy all of the logs. If you just buy the amateur contact log, I think it's $25 or $26, but it's got a bunch of other little separate logs for field day contests and things like that. And I just went ahead and bought them all, but probably wasn't necessary. But I think if you buy, if you buy the amateur contact log for 25 bucks, say, and then next year you want to get a field day log. It's a log that's specialized for a field day or contest or something, and it makes life a lot easier to have that specialized log. But I got to thinking if I added one or two down the road, I'd probably end up having $50 in it anyway.
yeah,
So went
that was
ahead
me
and
too.
I just shot the works and
And
got it.
well, and you know, all the updates are free. I mean, actually,
Yeah.
I just opened mine a minute ago and it said, hey, there's an update of states or something, and
Yeah.
just do it. You know, it's just, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's good value, I think.
DXCC entities come and go. There's I've got DX countries that I worked years ago that don't exist anymore. And so they're deleted. They don't count anymore.
Oh, really? So like if a country just like gets absorbed or changes its name or something like that, is that what you're talking about? I mean,
Yeah, but it's not entirely true because I have worked Burma before, and it is now called Miramax, Miramar, something.
Myanmar,
Miramar,
Myanmar.
Miramar, that's it.
Okay.
And anyway, whenever I was looking at my log today, I noticed that my Burma contacts are still in there and still being counted.
Hmm.
I don't have any Miramar contacts, but they didn't delete my old ones or say they're deleted or anything. But I had some of the islands in the Caribbean that they split up and redone them, and some of those are deleted. Well,
Interesting.
you just have to work them again, like Bonaire was one of them.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to go down there and be your Bonaire contact.
Yeah.
Haven't been down there in a while. I was, buddy of mine, we were talking about going last fall, and they were still locked down.
Yeah.
Nobody in, nobody out. There's a great big dish radio station. We may have talked about this down there in Bonaire. It used to be part of Radio Free Europe, and it was a relay station into South America. Great big, towers with this big cables and this big dish in the middle of it. Looks like something the CIA would have or something like that, but still there. They shut it down, if the radio station down here. I guess with the internet, there's no need to do that anymore. But I was talking to somebody that was, God, who was that? I was talking to somebody that was actually there, used to go out there and work on that thing. And he said at night after they would shut the radio station down, at midnight or whatever, he'd hook his ham radio to that antenna and talk all over the world with that thing.
And you said it was a dish of some sort, or?
Well, it's this big cavity in the ground, basically, with these
Oh,
towers, with these
That's
three
in Puerto
towers.
Rico. That's in Puerto Rico.
Now there's one on Bonaire too.
Is it?
And it's got these three towers, and then there are cables that come off those towers down to this
Mhm.
thing, and this dish is in the ground. I mean, it's pretty incredible. You can't get too close to it, but it's really weird
see.
looking.
Arecibo is the name of the one in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that one
It's the-
collapsed, you knew, right?
It's
I'm
the
sure
one
you
that
did.
collapsed not too long ago.
Let me see.
But your signal's gonna go straight up, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be talking to the stars.
Let's see, what was this? Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, I'll do.
So that guy that run the Arecibo, he was a ham operator, and I've worked him before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really too bad. They just let that thing deteriorate to the point that it collapsed.
Yep.
They're lucky somebody wasn't out on that.
Yeah.
that
Well,
walkway.
I think it was pretty much abandoned. The guy was still in there that was administrator of it, but they didn't do anything with it anymore. It was behind the times, and they knew that they was having problems, and they could never get any funding to keep it up.
Yeah,
Was the
Yeah.
problem.
too bad. I mean, kind of sad to see it go.
Well, Joe Taylor, the one that wrote the WSJTX program, he was there several years ago, and he did moon bounce through that Arecibo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you wouldn't need but 5 watts, would you?
You probably wouldn't need that much. Good grief. I don't know what kind of gain that thing would have, but it
Yeah.
must be in.
Hundreds of dB gain at that frequency.
Yeah, I mean, good grief. Just need enough power to get a signal up to the antenna.
Up to the feed horn, yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, the antenna takes over.
I imagine you could Google and probably find a YouTube of that.
Well, you can certainly find a YouTube of it collapsing. They had a camera on the thing all the time, and
Yeah.
they show that clip of it coming down, turn loose. And
I'm looking at an aerial map of Bonaire right now, trying to find that thing. But I think there's a cloud right over the top of where it is, my recollection.
So where is Bonaire?
Bonaire is south of Cuba, north of South America. It's like 90 miles off the coast of South America.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
too far from Barbados.
And great
Sure,
scuba diving if you're into.
Curacao down there right off.
Mhm.
Yep, it's
So
like the
that's
next
what-
island over.
Yeah, I
One,
worked
one year,
there.
one year when we went down there scuba diving, the winch at the dock broke, and they couldn't offload any beer. So when we got there, there was like a beer shortage, which is
Oh,
terrible.
no.
I know it was critical. And we were going around, stores would only sell you like 2 bottles of beer. You know, they like rationed it out.
At $10 a bottle, probably.
And no, they didn't gouge, I have to say, but they would only sell you 2. So we were like running around. This isn't a very big island. I mean, Piedmont, where I live, is as big as Bonaire in square miles. And so anyway, we're running around just getting what we could. And, you know, each of us would go in and get our 2 bottles, you know, when we found some. But basically they wouldn't, they had this ship, the ship full of beer showed up, and they couldn't unload it. So the owner said, well, we'll send it to Carousel. We can get it, you know, he wasn't going to let it sit out there on the water and ruin. So, but
Yeah, I worked Bonaire on 12 meters and 17 meters, January the 10th of this year. And one of them's confirmed, and the 12-meter one's confirmed, and the other one is not confirmed.
or if it was a local Bonarian or
And I'll
somebody.
back up and give you the call sign. Yeah, it's PJ4NX. So it's a Bonaire call sign.
Okay.
I also worked the same day, ZD7, which is St. Helena. And that sucker, I worked him on 12 and 17, and he has not uploaded his log. So I don't have a match there. And that's a hard one to get. I've worked Curacao recently too, Bill.
Yeah, that's a tiny little spot. There can't be too many hams on Curacao.
You know, interesting thing on Bonaire is they speak like 5 different languages on Bonaire.
Oh, really?
There's a local language that's only spoken there and on one of the other islands. I can't remember which one, Carousel or one of the other islands close. And then, of course, it's actually a Dutch island, so they speak Dutch. And then they speak English. A lot of them speak English. And then it's so close to South America that there's Spanish there a lot. And how many is that? Anyway, I lost track. But anyway, there's like 4 or 5 languages that are spoken there, and you know, just depending on who you're talking to, they all pretty much speak English. But then, depending on who they are, they speak one of the others.
Okay, I used my new logging program to sort Curacao, and I've got 23 contacts with Curacao. On a lot of them are CW. I've even got them on 160 meter CW, and I have I remember this contact. A couple of guys from Europe went there and set up a portable EME moonbound station, and I worked those guys. And that was on 2 meters, JT65. And that was in 2011. So this program is pretty slick to be able to sort stuff like that.
There it is.
Well, that'll give me something to do while I'm waiting on parts.
Yeah.
Well, I found the radio station, Radio Nederland.
Hmm.
Get any details on it. Yeah, when I first thought of it, I thought for sure it was some kind of a spy spy operation down there somehow. But supposedly it was a Gotta say, I'm struggling a little bit with this Windows 11.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait on Windows 11 at least a year.
Me too. Windows 10's working good.
Yep.
I've got
Well,
Windows.
my work computer, it won't even let me do 11. It doesn't have a fast enough processor, but this little laptop I use here in the thing, and I thought, well, that's a pretty harmless one to try it on. See what happens.
So did you buy the Windows 11 disk or did you do an upgrade?
No, it did it as an upgrade, as an
Yeah,
update.
I don't do upgrades. I would rather buy the disk and reformat a new hard drive and do it like that.
I've got another computer here that's running. Well, actually, this one is, I think, running home instead of pro, and I'd really like to upgrade it to pro. And
The only thing Pro would gain for you is a bunch of networking stuff, which home network, the Windows 10 Home will do all the networking that most people need to do unless you're a business.
I like remote desktop. I like to be able to remote into like I've got a computer here at the house that I can remote into from my laptop. It's really nice to be
Through
able
the
to do that.
network?
Yeah.
Through the home network?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can just remote in. I can have my laptop up in the bedroom and remote into this other computer. And wow. Well,
Anyway, Bill, on Logbook of the World, take you a while to get set up anyway. They send you a little app thing that goes on your computer. It's called TQSL, and it is what verifies when you upload a log to the Logbook of the World. You upload it through this program, and this program verifies to them that it's actually you uploading it, so somebody else can't mess with your log. So it's a little bit involved to get going, and you sign up for it, and then they'll send you this. Then you install it on your computer, and then you're ready to go. And you have to renew that thing every, I don't know how long, 3 years? Does that sound right?
yeah, but I don't remember for
I don't
sure. Yeah,
either.
that sounds close.
And it's easy to renew if you don't let it run out, because I let mine run out one time and I learned that lesson. It's easy to renew. It's even got a button on there you click to renew it. So don't let it run out. Renew it before the 3 years is up.
Make me think about that. I ought to go in and look at mine and make sure.
Me too. I need to go look at mine too. It's been a long time.
I've just got so many contacts that aren't verified. It's really scary when I go in there. I mean, probably half my contacts aren't.
A lot of mine aren't from the beginning. I mean, thousands in there. I'd say at least 2,000 probably at the beginning. One or two little strays pop up in there, and I've got all of these QSL cards, and I'll be darned if I'm going to go in there and enter them by hand and take a chance on the other guy doing the same thing. I'll just work them countries again.
Yeah. Well, my dues are due for the ARRL, so I need to get down there anyway and pay my year. While I'm on there, I'll do the Logbook of the World thing.
There was an interesting article in the new QST on a clock. What do they call that thing? It's displayed on a big TV screen. Geosynchro clock or something like that. Shows the whole world, and it shows the, where sunset is and
Mhm.
Right.
the whole smash. You seen those?
Hmm.
I had a thing that actually I have it still sitting here. It was a little program that went on a Raspberry Pi, and it showed all that. I could put it on a computer monitor or whatever, and it showed all that to show me where the gray line was and all that. It was pretty cool. And I started having a lot of networking issues, and I can't remember the details now. This has been a couple of years, but I started getting all these messages that my network was being hacked or something like that. And anyway, so I started by talking to my son. He says, well, what do you have on your network? And I said, well, he goes, well, start unhooking them one at a time and see what happens. And so I unhooked that Raspberry Pi and I quit getting those messages. So it kind of spooked me. It's still sitting there. There it is right there. I don't have any coax laying around, but I've got a Pi 4 there with that software on it. But I'm kind of afraid to keep thinking that sometime when I can sit here with it, I'm going to plug it back in where I can really watch my network and see what's going on. But kept getting these messages that I had all this network traffic that I shouldn't have had. So yeah, on pharmacy. Yeah. So
Hello,
Miller,
Wayne. How's it going, Wayne?
Evening, guys. How's it going?
All right.
good.
Like a decent crowd at the fire station.
Yeah, it started out kind of slow. There was a little while there were more of us on here than there were at the fire station, but they kept drifting in. I'm really impressed with how clean Phil's ham shack is there. I can't turn my background off. Y'all would never talk to me again.
Okay,
I don't
it's
know
worse
how-
than mine.
I don't know how he does that with a cat. I have 2 cats and I have cat hair everywhere.
Sam, your can't be any worse than mine. Mine's pretty junky.
Oh, actually, mine's gotten better, but I found this bookshelf we had stuck in the corner and on its side, weren't even using it. I moved it in here. And
Well,
got
I can honestly say that
semi-organized.
mine hasn't got any better.
The problem is the part you would see is the part I haven't gotten to yet. The part that I decluttered, you can't see on the camera. So
So this part here is what's cleaned up.
That doesn't look too bad.
I just,
Anytime you've got a work area, it's going to collect.
That's right. That's where I work at. I do stuff at.
I just finished rebuilding my bench. There's my bench.
Are you sure that's not just a picture of somebody else's?
That is a picture
that
of my bench.
really looks good.
Looking good, Wayne.
It's yeah, I can't even describe how non-functional it was. I built that little riser there. Not all those radios are hooked up anyway. They just look good.
Now see, he's got 2 clocks up there and they seem to be synchronized.
Well, they're not. They're about 20 seconds apart, but
Well,
they're both battery operated and they're both cheap clocks, but I haven't quite figured out how to get them synced up.
if you ever do, let me know. I was saying I've got 2 here and right now they're not quite 2 minutes off each other, but
I've got a battery operated clock that picks up WWV and it stays right on the money.
Now, those are nice, except I could not find one that would do UTC. Most of them will do Mountain Time, Central Time, and all that bunch of stuff. You set the offset,
yeah.
but none of them will do UTC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other, I mean, MFJ makes a dual just for hams. They make a dual but it's tiny. I mean, the screens on it are, like
You know
this
what?
big, and I
I
wanted
had
something.
one like that one time, and the battery lasted about 6 months. So it was
So,
just like, and it was like 30, $40 or something.
You can probably get a program that'll run on your computer that'll put a little window up in the corner and have UTC and local both.
So
no, that's true. That's true.
I saw where a guy actually built one out of a Raspberry Pi. And I have a Raspberry Pi here, but I don't think that I'm smart enough to do that. But
Well, it shouldn't take a Pi. You should be able to do it out of an Arduino, and way way cheaper. And I've actually found some plans for them for some different clocks. The other day I found some, and then I closed that window, and I don't remember where they were. But
It's probably cheaper to get a free app that'll run on your computer.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
gonna say. Go,
and my computer is synced to WWV, so I would be right on.
I bet you a quarter you could go to the Play Store and find
Yeah.
a program that would do what you're looking for.
Exactly. And my computer's on all the time, so.
yeah, my computer syncs with WWV, and
Yeah,
the other day
that's what I'm saying.
I turned over 10 megahertz and was listening to it. And that clock up there that I got set for UTC, it's about 7 minutes off. And then the local one's about 20 seconds off, not minutes, but seconds.
So anyway, that's another thing, Bill, your computer has to use these digital programs like FT8, JT65 and all those, your computer needs to be synced to WWV. So you may have to do that too,
Doesn't Windows sync to something really accurate?
kinda,
Syncs the Windows if you want.
yeah, the Windows time server.
yeah.
But that's not accurate enough.
Most
Yeah.
people don't use it because I don't think it updates very often now.
Oh,
So I was trying to, I don't know if I've got one on this computer.
I always use the www.nist.gov. Gov. That's what that computer you see in the background. That's the one. It's set on WWV, and that's FT8. I got pulled up there,
Yeah.
but
So what program are you using to sync your computer?
using the Windows, and in Windows you can actually change the time server. I'm using the time server www.nist.gov.
I think that's the one I'm using, but you're using a Windows 10. Well, I guess everybody is now, pretty much.
Yeah, there is also a website that Mark Klein told me one time, and I've got it bookmarked there. There's somewhere you can go there too, and
I've got a different one on this computer, but I don't have that computer turned on, so I can't tell you what it is. But when you get ready, you want to do it, send me an email and I'll send you the info on it, Bill.
okay.
One of them's called Mendenhall, but I've got 2 or 3 different kinds of them going. Let me see what's on this computer over here. Okay. On that computer over there that I'm running, it's got a program called Dimension 4 on it.
or
Dimension 4. And
And somehow that'll sync your Windows computer to WWE?
Yes, that's right. Have you been on FTA today, Wayne?
No, not today.
10 meters was open today.
What was it, 10?
10 was open to Alaska and Hawaii and a few European stations. 15 was really open good.
So I get, so I'm a 1010 member and I follow the 1010 Facebook page, and every day somebody's posting in there that, yeah, 10 meter has these openings.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign. I need to get me up something.
Yep.
10 meters.
I've been checking 6 meters a little bit, but I haven't heard anything on it yet. Probably the next, 6 meters is open in the summertime. You got to be ready for that because you never know when it's going to open. And one year, it's been 3 or 4 years ago, had an opening, and I worked several stations in Japan on 6 meters.
Get that ducting going during the hot, humid.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. On Windows 11, you can set up multiple clocks and tell each one of them what time zone you want.
There you go.
But I can't get it to show on the screen. But if you like hover the mouse, down in the right-hand corner where you've got the date and time,
Yeah.
you hover the mouse over it, it shows you all the clocks that you've got set up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Windows,
wish I could get it to.
I bet money there's an app that will do it. And I had an app that years ago, and I don't know if that was on Windows 7 or what.
well, Windows 10 will do the same thing. It's just that it's like, if I want to show UTC, I have to hover over it, like you said.
Yeah, that's what I'm having to do here. I wish I could figure out some way.
Click on the time and it'll show up above my calendar.
So, Wayne, are you on Windows 10?
Yes. On this computer, I'm on Windows 10. I have a computer at work that I put Windows 11 on that I'm kind of testing out.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what Sam's doing. He's got Windows 11 on that.
But so far I hadn't had, well, one time I got the monkeying around. It's a laptop that I got at work and I screwed something up, so I had to wipe it and start over again. But other than that, I haven't really found a whole lot wrong with Windows 11. So
Well, I was telling them my fingerprint reader, log on didn't work. Of course, I used the pen and I went in and I Googled it and they were saying, yeah, go back and reload the old driver for your fingerprint reader. So I did it and it works fine now. It took a minute to fix, but device manager and reload the driver basically.
Interesting.
So, but that's the only thing, and it moved all my little things at the bottom to the middle. I'm trying to get used to that a little bit, but
there's an option where you can move it to the left side.
yeah, I figured there's probably a way to put it back. Yeah.
That's about the first thing I did was go in there, put it back over here where I want it.
Yeah, here's taskbar setting. That's the other thing. All the menus are a little different, taskbar settings and stuff like that.
That's what you're getting used to because I work with Windows 10 every day and I can just zip through all the menus, but 11, I have to sit there and look.
Yep.
That's one reason I don't want to change.
Me too. I was reluctant to go to Windows 10.
Yeah, me too. I liked 7 really well.
I did too.
Well, one of these days, I think 2023, they're going to quit updating 10.
Yeah, they said they were going to give everybody 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Well, they said that about Windows 7, but I still get updates on Windows 7.
Well, the aggravating thing is like my other laptop, the one I use day to day, it's a Panasonic Toughbook. It's a great computer and eventually it's going to be obsolete because it's got 10 and it won't update to 11 because it doesn't have a big enough processor.
Yeah.
So they're going to make me buy a new computer.
That's
No.
one.
You can
Just,
use Windows 10 until
Yeah,
then.
until it breaks or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that computer there that I use for my ham over there that you see in that picture, it won't upgrade to Windows 11. So, but it's fine on 10.
Yeah, 10's gonna be around for a long time, so,
It's running an i7 processor with 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
It'll never be lacking. My other computer, the one that I'm talking on right now, I can upgrade to Windows 11. I just hadn't pulled that trigger yet. But when I do that, it takes me a few days to load all the software and stuff back on it.
takes me more than a few days to get all that straightened out. I do it a little bit at a time. I just do what I need at the time.
Yeah.
And invariably, you always forget something. As you go along, you say, darn, I'm gonna have to load that program on here.
Well, I usually try to take my flash drive, and before I even wipe it, I put all the programs that I think I'm going to need on it.
Yeah,
But you're all, like you said, you always forget something.
yeah.
But I imagine probably, and another thing is I just hadn't had time to go to 11 on this one. This one is, this won't run it just fine. This one's got 64 gigs of RAM in it. This is my gaming laptop anyway. I mean, not laptop, desktop.
This is a terabyte RAID drive, which automatically backs up. There's two 1 terabyte drives in there, and it backs up the data on both of them. Bill's familiar with RAID setup, so that's what that is.
Yeah. So I need to get me, I want to get me a NAS to set up so that I can back up. I need to back up my computers and all my wife's computers and stuff. Phil must be talking on the guys at me.
Yeah, I've got a Synology NAS here that I love. I can put
Oh,
up
yeah.
to 4 hard drives in it, and I've only got 2 in it, but my gosh, I mean, that's where I keep like all our pictures and, you know, music and all that stuff, and plus
So
backing up our computers.
According to the network admin at work, Synology is a really good brand.
Yeah. Well, I use their routers too. I mean, my son's a big Synology fan. He's my computer geek, and he actually bought me my NAS, and then he turned around and bought me I needed a new router. He bought me the Synology router, and it's really fantastic. I mean, and it's got, you know, built-in, well, you can do RAID on the NAS if you want. Anyway, and the router's got a built-in VPN. So,
Well, nowadays you got to have some kind of backup. I mean, if your computer crashes and you lose all your pictures and stuff, then that's not always good starting over. Everything is digital these days.
Yeah. This desktop computer, I usually got 4 solid state hard drives in it for
Yeah.
backup.
Do you have them
One
on?
of them has backup for my astro images and wildlife images on another one. Things like that.
Yeah, I have 4. I have one of the hard drives in this computer. I have 4 256 gigs rated together for a terabyte. And that's what I use to run my daily backups for my computer.
You know,
For the time being,
you can have multiple solid state hard drives in your desktop. If you crash, the one that crashes is the one with the operating system on it. So all of the other ones are okay.
if you run a RAID 5.
Yep.
It depends on which RAID you're running. But yes, that's true. This one here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 7. I've got 7 SSDs in it. So I took 4 of them and I rated them in a RAID 0 to give me a terabyte drive. And that's the one that I use for just backing up my Windows operating system. If for some reason that the RAID crashes, that big a deal. As long as the whole computer doesn't crash.
Well, the Windows 11 that you're using, Wayne, is it an upgrade or did you buy the disk?
Well, the Windows 11 I'm using at work
Oh,
is it comes with our volume license.
got you.
I haven't, but I've downloaded the ISO from Microsoft for my computer here at home whenever I pull the trigger on it. And
Yeah,
it was a free download. But I'm not real big on upgrades.
I'm not either.
You know, I do the painstaking methods when I'm
I
ready
do
to
too.
do it. You know, it used to be F disk. Now it's just you load the Windows disk, you just delete all the partitions and start fresh.
Yeah. I normally start with a fresh hard drive too. I'm gonna do
That would be
Windows
great
11.
too.
If I'm gonna do Windows 11, I'll buy another solid state hard drive and put Windows 11 on it.
Yeah, I've had some bad experiences doing upgrades. So I do the painstaking method, and that's why I have to work my way up to it.
Yeah, I got my icons back over to the left.
Oh,
Let me
good.
know that can happen.
So I
Took me
haven't
a little while to
looked,
find it, but
I haven't looked at the price of a Windows 11 disk or USB stick or whatever. What's it going for nowadays?
I don't know.
$100 or so?
I haven't bought an operating system in so long. It's
y'all me either.
um,
This is a free upgrade from on this computer, and
Yeah,
yeah, and mine was a free upgrade. And because years ago I had bought a copy of Windows 7, several copies, and I had bought a copy of Windows 8. Well, you can use all the same CD keys for Windows 10 and even Windows 11. They'll let you use all of that. And that's just what I've been doing, is going from one to the next. My Windows 10 machine right here is actually using the key that I bought with Windows 8.1, which 8.1 I only had for like 6 months. That's about all I could stand to that. I went back to 7.
Yeah, 8 was kind of a bomb.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was-
okay, I'm looking right now at Amazon and get Windows 11 home for $130.
Wow.
And not too bad for the home version. Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't see the- I don't see the Pro. Oh, here's Windows 11 Pro is $149.
That's still not too terribly bad.
No, it's on the USB stick.
I can remember years ago when it was like $300,
Oh, yeah.
but then everybody bootlegged it. Windows XP. Not saying that I did.
No, who would do that? Who would do a thing like that?
We used to use key code generators back then.
I used NT for a long time. Windows 2000 was similar to NT with a more usable interface.
Yeah, one of my jobs we had NT, and then we upgraded to Windows 2000.
Yeah,
I got some on the stove I gotta go check. I'll be right back.
I liked Windows 2000 also.
I jumped to NT because it had much better security than
NT had good security.
yeah, which now is part of everything. But back then you had to have NT to have the NT security. It was, so
I don't know if I'll get Windows 11, maybe 2 or 3 years.
well, you know, like I say, I put it on this computer, which is fairly expendable. You know, if I had to wipe it and start over, it's not that big a deal. And
When did you say that's going to quit maintaining Windows 10, Bill? Did you say
I thought they said 5 years.
5 years?
5 years, probably from a year ago,
Yeah.
whenever the first release of 11 was.
Yeah.
But I'm not absolutely sure, but 5 years is what I remember reading.
It'll probably come down to $100 by then.
Yeah.
So Windows 11.
Had a big old, cooked up a big old pot of butter beans on the stove. Had to go. They're done. Had to go shut them off.
Yeah.
That'll be supper tomorrow night.
So I want to know is Windows 11 any better than Windows 10? Can you tell any difference?
I think that it's so far, it's like a beautified version of 10. To me, a lot of things operate. And Sam, you were talking about how the menus look different. I found out that the actual Windows 10 menus are in there. It just takes a couple of extra clicks to make it produce.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you used to be able to, like if you right click on the desktop or whatever, you'll see the new menu. And then there'll be an option that says more options. When you click on that, the old Windows 10 menu will pop up.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting that it looks like I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks great. I think it looks sleek, but it operates just like Windows 10 so far. Now, as they keep coming up with updates, I'm sure it's going to change things.
Well, the thing I haven't gotten used to yet is just like when you click on the Windows little Windows icon, the start, I think it's called the start button on the left. That comes out totally different than it used to. It used to have, you had little icons you could position on the right, and then you had the list of all the software on the computer on the left. And anyway, just haven't actually had it on here that long.
What does it look like in Windows 11 when you click on the start bar?
Well, let's see.
More like a Mac. But interesting enough, when you click on that start button, then you can't see your applications except for the ones that you've pinned. See, that's what it looks like right there.
Can you see that, Ken?
Yeah.
But
That's
now
the
if you
start
click
button.
if you click on that button that says, I think it says all apps, then you'll get something that's similar to the old Windows 10.
Oh, okay.
Application
All apps.
scroll
Yeah,
down.
there you go. Well, now you got the list of all
Now
the,
you got the whole list of all the apps.
now you've got it in a list format.
Yeah.
So-
But,
Well, that's the way I have my Windows 10 set up.
well, except over to the right of this list, there were places where you had little blocks.
Yeah.
And I put a lot of the stuff that I didn't want in the bottom. I didn't want it along the ribbon on the bottom, but stuff I used a lot, like programming software for my radios. I put little blocks in there for that. So it was right there. I mean, I just had to hit the start menu, and then I could see all those things.
That same start menu is what you see whenever you click the start. It just looks different, but you can customize what apps you put on that one.
Oh, okay.
Just like the old one, they're just not big boxy squares.
Not little boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you could, make the boxes big or small. There was a lot of little things
I
you could
think
do
what
with it.
you do is when you pull up all apps, you can right click on them and tell it, send a start menu, just like you used to do with 10, and it'll pop it on that. But off the top of my head, I can't remember. But
You can tell it to pin to start.
pin to start, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it should come up on that first window. So
Yep.
instead of having the apps on the left and the window, the starts on the right,
Right.
they overlapped them.
Well, it's got the two different views. You just pick which way you want to see them. So
Right.
I may have to do some unpinning here, but
Same thing, looks different.
yeah. Yeah, it just take a little getting used to. And of course, those of us over 40 don't like change. So
I'll let you know when I get there.
all right, you do that.
Well, I don't know. I'm way over 40, and then, yeah, I've come to conclusion change is inevitable. So
I can remember typing DOS commands,
Oh, yeah.
I still do. I open up a command prompt a lot of times and type DOS command.
Yep.
That's one cool thing that Microsoft hadn't done away with.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, the command window is, I wonder how that is. There's command prompt. Yeah, it's still there. It still works the same. It's,
Guys, I think I'm gonna drop off. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoyed
yeah.
Yeah, good
Well,
talking to
good
you.
luck,
Bill.
Bill. I hope you get finally get the right
it.
piece. I want to see that hex up in the air, you know.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Beautiful antenna. I think you
If
made
you
a good
need
choice
anything,
there.
Bill, let me know.
Okay, thanks, Ken.
Yeah, if you
Thanks,
need
guys.
little chunks of aluminum, just give me a call. I can mill them down to whatever size you want. You know, big metal's easy to make small metal out of. You know,
Yeah,
so
true.
just let me know. Y'all take care. I
Okay.
think I'm going to go too. I need to go check with my wife, see if that prescription ever got filled, and
All right,
get to the
Okay.
pharmacy before it gets
Yeah.
too late. So
I'm going to. Good talking to everybody.
Yeah.
y'all have a great week.
See you
See you next
later.
week.
all right, see y'all.
All right.
Who you waving at, Mark? Well, Phil, you still there, or did you take off? Well, Phil, are you still there? Guess not. Guess I'm just gonna bail out and leave Phil here. Enjoyed it. Talk to y'all later.